I was listening to some Tyler the Creator, but I figured we'd play a game called What's That Book on My Shelf Over Here? And I'll read from it. Let's see what we got here. Huh. Who's listening? Should we listen to something that I've written? Plant intelligence, school systems, our kind of people, the 10th insight. Ooh, that might be the one right there. We'll start with this one. A little divine from whatever page I just scrolled through, left-handed as always. It's weird, they taught me to be right-handed, but I'm very left-handed. Does anybody else do that whenever in a book, they read backwards? Yeah, here we go. Remembering. This is 69. That's the page number. It just so happens that's just what I scrolled to. I'm not a master at using. Oh, look at this. What is this? Ooh. We'll talk about that later. Remembering. The next morning I jerked awake, the shrill cry of a hawk high overhead, pulling me into awareness. For a few moments I listened carefully, imagining her lofty rolls. She cried one more time, then stopped. I sat up quickly and looked through the tent flap. This is not what I want right now. So sorry guys, this is not the story I would like to give you right now. Let's try again. Here, this will be take 2. But here, you guys get to watch it happen in real time. Let's see. Huh. Ooh. There it is. Oh, and I've dropped a book. Let's see which one that was. See, this is like when you read tarot. If a card falls out, you know that's what you need to read. Ah. How very clever. How very clever of the universe to provide you with Hermann Hesse poems. This one I haven't read. It actually smell. Do you know the smell of an old book? I'll leave this one out. I'll read it later. Do you know the smell of an old book? Look at this. The pages are a little dingy and yellow and whatever. So that's why you know that a tree, as it sits there, lives and continues. It's grounded out. It collects sunshine and water and puts it into a system that becomes you got the root, and then you get the bark, and then you got the whole thing. This is why dogs bark, because they're, except my dog, my little puppy here, she don't bark at anything. Only once in a while. She's very very calm demeanor. So these pages, as they have been cut down from a tree, and then someone scribbled on them or put them through a printing press, they become withered and almost dullard. Although these words that are in here are not. So I'll speak them, and then we get this on a digital. Let's see here. How can we do this? There's an organic living system, and then there is the carbon system, and then there's a you'd call it a synthesizer. Do you remember that by Outkast? Synthesizer. Then there's a synthetic, or a what some people would say is the ancient world. Is the old trees were made out of silicone or silicon, like Silicon Valley, where the big trees are, silicon. So that's in computers you have silicon, right? And what I'm going to attempt to do here is take some of this carbon and turn it into silica fibers. I mean, that's the look into the structure of carbon, and then look in the structure of silica or silicon. I did a video about this maybe 3 years ago, and here it happens in real time. So we'll read Poems by Hermann Hesse. This is awesome. I've only read a few of these, but oh, here we go. Lying in Grass. And it's fun because they on the left page they give it to you in, I think, the Jamans, and then the right page they give it to you in English. Check it out. Let's see if you can. I don't know if you can be able to see it, but there it is. Lying in Grass. Does anybody know that book, Leaves of Grass? Leaves of Grass. It's a poem book by Walt Whitman, one of the greatest poets ever. Walt Whitman, whetting my whistle and my whiskers, as I alluded to in my last video. What are you doing? What are you doing, puppy head? Sirius Dogstar has puppies. P-U-P-P-I. Check that out. That's interesting. Here you go. In the everything. Oh, okay. Here. I like to read in low light. I have a purple light on right now. It might look a little blue to you guys. Let me change the color because that will help you read a little better. Sorry about that. Let's get back to this. I mean, I like the purple in the back, but it's not helping me see the words on the page. Maybe green might work. No, that's too much. Red is always good. Let's try orange. It's not really orange. Oh, hi, puppy. Doggy just came and sat next to me. Yellow, blue, indigo, violet. I guess we'll stay with what I had to begin with. Well, this is a little more blue. I like that. That's all right. We can work with this. It's purple blue. Is anybody into colors? The color spectrum? I don't. I have maybe 10 more minutes on here because I have a few videos that I gotta upload. Okay, here you go. Lying in Grass. Is this everything now? The quick delusions of flowers, and the down colors of the bright summer meadow, the soft blue spread of heaven, the bee's song. Is this everything only a god's groaning dream, the cry of unconscious power of deliverance? The distant line of the mountains, that beauty and courageously rests in the blue. Is this too only a convulsion? Only in the wild strain of fermenting nature. Only grief, only agony, only meaningful fumbling. Never resisting, never a blessed moment? No. Leave me alone, you impure dream. Of the world is in suffering. The dance of the insects cradles you in an evening radiance. The bird's cry cradles you. A breath of wind cools my forehead with consolation. Leave me alone, you Ooh, this is a good word. You unenumerably. That's an interesting word. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I mean, I get it in context, right? Leave me alone, you unenumerably. That's a tongue twister in and of itself. Unenumerably. That's 7. Wait. Unenumerably. That's 6. Sorry. Old human grief, let it be pain. Let it all be suffering. Let it be wretched. But not this one sweet hour in the summer, and not the fragrance of the red clover, and not the deep tender pleasure in my soul. Isn't that great? Yeah, you ever leave people with a hankering, or like a wide open jaw? They go, oh wow. Or do you ever leave people and it's like this? It's a timid temperament of tenacious, tactile. It's this most amazing thing. That poem just made me feel like this. There's people that you come across and you'll remember them forever, and they'll remember you forever. Will they remember the beginning, the middle, or the end, or the entire thing? I think this is very important because I've spent many hours with many people, and it tends to be this eclectic mix of flavors with people. And I wonder if they remember the beginning and the middle. The end is always bittersweet, right? I mean, isn't it so that all relationships have those stages, even with yourself, even you find these people that make you make relations with generations. There's this you mold things, and you wonder if they remember the process of collecting the soil, or the mud, or the clay, and then forming it. And if what they don't, if the end result, because is it an end result? I mean, if you go to school and you take a test, the teacher will give you a paper and say, you got a 40 on this. You've got 100 on this. You get a gold star. Do you remember that? Did any at the time, for certain that you were like, let me see if I get my test back and if everything was right. Was it right? Was it perfect? Did I get every? Was I a student? How about you guys? A students, B students, C students, D students, E. I mean, you couldn't be an E student. You got E and F, right? E's were for that's a weird one. Like it was the A through D and then an F. But some schools had E's, which was weird. So like 60 to 64.9 or something. Like what is that? So how did anyone fail? Did anyone fail art class? Let me ask you that, because that is the most disturbing, weird thing, that you can get taught art in school, but somehow fail it. Because isn't life art? Isn't the fact that you're even showing up and just being at class enough? Isn't that artistic in its own right? How do you fail art class? Like, I can see how you could fail math. I could see, numerically, we could say 2 and 2 is probably 4. Probably. But they say draw a picture of, and then you draw it, and they're like, I'm gonna give this a 60. Did an art teacher ever fail you? I think this is here's what we'll turn this into. Did an art teacher ever fail you? Does anybody remember their report? That reported what you reported. You failed art. Is that even possible? I don't know, because I dropped out of doing art, right? To take technology and science classes and shit, and do I was economics major, AP economics, mathematics, design and drawing, blah blah blah. It was structured. But art, can you fail that? Can you fail English, really? I could see if somebody was stuttering, and I stutter. I actually use it as a tool. Stuttering is a it's a literary device. You never see anyone stuttering in a book, do you? If I take one of these books off the shelf and read it, no one stutters. Stutters? But if you do that, it's for effect. So for people out there that have a dilemma with the English language and they stutter, it's not that you're slow. It's that your brain works so fast that your mouth is trying to catch up to the words that are going on in your head. So if what you would do is take whatever's in your head as words and turn them into pictures, as images, and then explain the image that you're seeing, voila. Not everyone can. Right now, as I'm speaking, I do it a little differently, maybe. but as I'm speaking, it's not. I'm not explaining an image that I see in my head. It it's all over my brain. Like I'm connecting a bunch of different places and forming something as I speak. That's it maybe different for different people, but if your brain is so wildly uh, like you're trying to articulate. Articulation is this. It's a joint. That's an articulation. Your elbow is an articulation point. Your wrist is. Your brain has these points as well. A phrenology, a phrenology. There you go. So you have certain points in your brain that you're trying to connect, and if you image it first and then allow the image to present itself in front of your mind and then speak the image, it becomes way easier. I don't really do that. I just know that that's a thing. I just know that works. I mean, sometimes I do. If I'm really being funny, I could talk about let's paint a picture here. What kind of picture would you like to paint? Should it be a donkey and a what would you like? Oh, okay. I've got these words, and then so you have these words that are going on in your head because you've been programmed with language to say that the image that you see is a bunch of letters, and then you codex that. You make a code out of the image that you see and turn it into words that go on in your mind, which are letters that produce words right there. And there's a bunch. They're going. It's fucking going so fast, and then you just go, let's turn that back into an image, and then you speak about the image that you see in your mind. And the image that I see in my mind is beauty and wonder and splendor for everyone. And that's as much time as I have because 20 minutes, I gotta shut this off. I'll do another video and we'll further this concept if anybody likes. So if you do have any autistic savants in and around your family and friend and your circles of being, if anybody needs a little more understanding on that, I think I found. I told you a few weeks ago, maybe a week ago, about something I wrote to help children that have autism or something, how to understand how language works, and it was about how the letters. Anyways, see, I'm being very fucking autistic right now. It's nothing to be shamed for. How dare you speak like you do? Every comedian that you've ever met, and every wise man, every wise woman, every seer, every keeper of the ancient grains of wisdom, they were very autistic, and I threw up the air quotes because I like doing that. Anyways, here I'll give you a poem because I think I have 2 more minutes. Here you go. Here's one poem. It's called A Swarm. No, that's not that one. Let's do Spring Day. Wind in bushes and bird piping, and high in the highest flesh blue. A haughty cloud ship be claimed. I dream of a blonde woman. I dream of my youth. The high heavens blue and outspread is the cradle of my longing, when I choose to lie calm and blessedly warm with a soft humming, just like a child or his mother's arm. Isn't it funny? Both poems I read had the word blue in it and the color of the light right here. Weird. Have a beautiful day. Do weird things.